But here's the brutal truth. Every word you speak prematurely leaks energy. Every explanation you offer to someone who doesn't need to hear it drains your momentum. Every time you check what others think before you check what you think, you hand over your power. You're living in a state of constant reaction. You're not directing your life, you're responding to it. And somewhere deep down, you know it. You feel the scatter. You sense the drift. You recognize that despite all your effort, you're not moving with the clarity and control you once imagined for yourself. The Stoics had a word for this. They called it living outside yourself. It's the condition of allowing external events, other people's opinions, and the noise of the world to dictate your internal state. It's the opposite of sovereignty. It's the opposite of freedom. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But he wasn't writing that because he had it all figured out. He was reminding himself, because even emperors fall into the trap of reacting, of seeking external validation, of forgetting where true power lies. Most people never escape this. They spend their entire lives in reactive mode. They let the world set the agenda. They speak too much and think too little. They seek approval from crowds who will forget them by tomorrow. They chase goals they don't even want because someone else told them those goals mattered. And here's what hurts the most. They're capable of so much more. They have the intelligence, they have the potential, they have the time, but they never focus it. They never harness it. They never turn the spotlight inward and ask the only question that matters. What do I want? What do I control? What can I do right now? Instead, they talk, they announce, they react, they scatter. And the years slip by. You don't want that. If you're still reading this, still listening, it's because something inside you is ready for a different way. You're tired of the noise. You're exhausted by the performance. You're done giving your energy to things that don't serve your growth. You want your time back. You want your focus back. You want yourself back. And the good news is this. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You just need to understand one thing. The habit that changes everything isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It doesn't require you to announce it to the world or post about it or convince anyone else to join you. It's the opposite. It's quiet. It's internal. It's invisible to everyone but you. And it starts the moment you make a single decision: to focus on yourself and stay silent. So what does this habit actually look like? Let's break it down because it's simpler than you think, but not easier. Focusing on yourself means redirecting your attention to the only things you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your responses, your effort, not the outcome, not what others think, not the economy, the algorithm, the competition, or the critics, just you. Staying silent means resisting the urge to speak prematurely, to announce your intentions, to seek validation, or to react impulsively. It means learning to hold your energy inside until the right moment, until you've actually done the work, until speaking serves a purpose beyond ego. This is not about becoming a recluse. It's not about refusing to communicate or collaborate. It's about being strategic with your words and ruthless with your attention. The Stoics practiced this relentlessly. Epictetus, who was once a slave, taught his students, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He wasn't preaching theory. He lived it. He didn't complain about his chains. He didn't broadcast his suffering. He focused on what he could control: his mind, and he stayed silent about everything else. Seneca, advisor to emperors, wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." In other words, when something triggers you, when someone insults you, when chaos erupts around you, pause, stay silent. Let the moment pass through you instead of reacting from it. That pause, that silence is where your power lives. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire at war, constantly reminded himself, confine yourself to the present. Stop replaying the past. Stop worrying about the future. Stop imagining what others are thinking. Just focus on the present moment and the one thing you can do right now. This is the practice. And it's hard because everything in our modern world pulls you in the opposite direction. Social media rewards you for speaking constantly, for announcing every thought, for performing your life in public. The culture glorifies busyness, multitasking, and availability. You're expected to respond immediately, to always be on, to never miss a notification. But here's what no one tells you. Every time you react immediately, you weaken your ability to respond thoughtfully. Every time you speak prematurely, you dilute your intentions. Every time you seek external validation before internal clarity, you train yourself to depend on others for your sense of worth. The habit of focusing on yourself and staying silent is the antidote to all of that. It looks like this in practice. You wake up and instead of reaching for your phone, you sit for 5 minutes in silence. No input, no output. Just you and your thoughts. You ask yourself, what matters most today? What can I control? What's one thing I can move forward? At work, when someone criticizes your idea, you don't defend immediately. You pause. You consider whether the criticism has merit. If it does, you integrate it. If it doesn't, you let it go. Either way, you don't waste energy justifying yourself to someone who doesn't need to understand. When you're tempted to announce your new project, your new goal, your new habit on social media, you resist. You stay silent. You let the work speak for itself. You build in private. You know that premature announcement diffuses the energy you need to actually execute. When chaos erupts around you, bad news, drama, conflict, you don't react. You observe, you breathe, you remind yourself, this is outside my control. What is within my control? And you focus only on that. This is not passivity, this is power. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say." He wasn't being poetic. He was giving you a ratio. Listen twice as much as you speak. Observe twice as much as you react. Absorb twice as much as you broadcast. Why? Because silence creates space. Space for clarity, space for insight, space for strategy. When you're constantly talking, you're not thinking. When you're constantly reacting, you're not observing. When you're constantly seeking validation, you're not building. But when you focus on yourself and stay silent, something remarkable happens. You start to notice patterns you couldn't see before. You hear the signal beneath the noise. You recognize what actually matters versus what merely demands attention. You become aware of your own habits, your own thoughts, your own blind spots. And from that awareness, you can finally act with precision. You stop wasting time on things that don't move the needle. You stop engaging with people who drain your energy. You stop defending positions that don't need defending. You stop announcing plans that aren't ready to be announced. You simplify, you focus, you execute. And here's the paradox. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry. The less you react, the more intentional your actions become. The less you seek validation, the more confident you feel. The world respects silence. It respects restraint. It respects people who don't need to explain themselves, who don't need to perform, who don't need constant affirmation. But more importantly, you respect yourself. Because you know you're living according to your own standards, not the world's. You're moving in the direction you chose, not the direction the crowd is drifting. This is the essence of Stoic discipline. It's not about deprivation, it's about direction. It's about saying no to the trivial so you can say yes to the essential.
Follow for more powerful mindset shifts.